Welcome to Mental Health University. Today, we are talking about our favorite topic, mental health. Mental health is best defined as a continuum. It's not a black or white concept, but rather falls on a spectrum which can range from mild to moderate to severe. Often, modern media portrays mental disorders or illness as severe. However, many individuals struggling with mental health issues fall within minor distress to maybe some reduced ability to perform daily tasks. Moreover, these mental health states are not permanent or stationary. In fact, a person can experience each level of the spectrum at one point in time. For example, someone may be laughing and having fun with friends, but also be upset, possibly over a bad test grade they received that day, all the while having to deal with a mental disorder such as depression. We're going to discuss mental health terminology and help you better understand the differences between good mental health, distress, and how, over time, mental health problems can contribute to mental health disorders or illnesses. Let's start off by defining mental health. Mental health is broadly defined as a state of successful performance of mental function, which can result in productive activities, fulfilling relationships with people, and the ability to change and cope with adversity. In other words, mental health is the capacity by which we successfully adapt to changes in life. As you can see, this would fall into the healthy or perhaps some minor distress portion of the mental health continuum. When considering a person's mental health or overall well-being, it's important to understand the role of stress. Many of us have experienced, or at the very least are familiar with, the concept of stress. Whether we have felt it before an important test or before public speaking, it's naturally a part of our daily living. In a nutshell, stress is a physiological response that involves the activation of our central nervous system, hormones, and the initiation of our fight, flight, or freeze response. How individuals respond to stressors varies, but can affect emotions, thinking, physical health, and behaviors. It can feel like being worried or overly energized. It can result in different thoughts such as, "I'm not good at anything," or potentially, "I need to solve this." It can cause headaches, stomach aches, or sweating. Or it can even lead to situations where you are avoiding things or yell at people. Although we cannot control daily life stressors, it's important to understand that stress can be a good or bad experience depending on how we perceive it. If we think of stress as helpful and motivating instead of negative and debilitating, we can transform the way it affects us. Hence, the way we perceive stress, whether positive or negative, can have a powerful impact on our lives. And over time, we learn the skills from dealing with these stressors that can lead to resiliency. A key question becomes, what's the difference between stress and de-stress? Mental distress is discomfort and tension that lasts longer than the initial stress response. It presents us with challenges we don't have the skills to handle and may lead to anxiety disorders if not addressed. And distress can also contribute to physical issues such as back pain and stomach problems. Mental distress is when an accumulation of everyday stressors erodes our sense of well-being and leads to low mood and feelings of being on edge all the time. This is when stress becomes distress. Keep in mind that some stress is normal, but not when it's prolonged. A mental health problem is often a larger stressor than usual. For example, it could be the death of a loved one, moving to a new city, having a serious physical illness, or even living in a global pandemic. Mental health problems are a normal part of life, but they can be very challenging to deal with. And the individual responses to mental health problems look very different depending on the person. However, we know that mental health problems do affect our thinking, physical health, and behaviors. It can take the shape of strong negative emotions, such as sadness, grief, or anger. It can change our thinking, resulting in thoughts such as, "I don't know if I can go on in my life anymore." It can result in issues with sleep, energy, and cause body aches, or lead to changes in behavior, such as withdrawing from friends and family, or angry outbursts towards people. People in our lives play a crucial role in coping with mental health problems. Some of the people that may help include school counselors, religious leaders, and other supportive adults. Mental health disorders or illnesses are specific medical conditions that are diagnosed by a trained health professional using established diagnostic criteria. Mental health disorders come from a complex interplay between a person's genetic makeup and the environment in which they live or have been exposed to. These disorders are best treated by a trained professional using evidence-based treatments. Individuals with a mental health disorder often experience significant, substantial, and persistent challenges with their emotions, thoughts, physical wellness, and behavior. Mental health disorders are very different from distress or mental health problems, but all of these issues can impact mental health and overall well-being. The last term we are going to discuss is stigma, which can happen at any level of the mental health continuum. Stigma is when someone views a person in a negative way just because of their mental health. And note, a person can be defined as us talking towards ourselves or us approaching other people in the community. Stigma can feel like you're ashamed of yourself or involve judging others. That ends our discussion on mental health terminology. Thank you for learning about mental health.